Hey gang, Eric Shanefield here with Nearview Media. Welcome to this week's High Value Publishing session. Kind of excited about today's High Value Publishing session. We're going to talk about specifically how to fix your email, your subject and your pre-header text of your email. I am still surprised at how many of us publishers are not doing a good job with our subject lines and the pre-header text of our email. And this is absolutely critical as this is going to help us get more opens, more ad impressions, more traffic to our website, more clicks. This is absolutely critical to keeping engaged with our audience and driving more revenue and driving more traffic. So excited to get into this session here with you. Before we do, just a couple quick notes. All of these sessions are available on the Nearview Media website. You can just go to highvaluepublishing.com and that will redirect to the High Value Publishing website, our section on our site. The other thing is all the links that we're going to talk about in here, though there probably won't be that many in this session, are available with each session, published with each session. And these are also available as a podcast. So make sure you sign up for our email newsletter to get those, but you can also follow us on Apple, Google, Spotify, all your favorite podcasting platforms. So without any further ado, I want to jump in and I'm just going to go right into my email inbox. So this is my inbox here. I have a whole folder in my email inbox just dedicated to publication newsletters. I must subscribe to probably several hundred different magazine email newsletters, everything from B2B trade journals to consumer enthusiast hobby publications to association publications, regional business publications, regional city magazines, you name it, I'm probably subscribed to it. I literally get hundreds of email newsletters every single day. So I'm just going to dive through and we're going to talk about, first of all, what is email preview text? What is the pre-header text? Pre-header text is what shows in addition to your subject line. So within an email, there's three pieces of information that show up in someone's inbox that are going to determine whether or not someone opens your email newsletter and reads it. One is the subject line. Now that's pretty easy because usually the subject line is the name of the brand. For instance, Biz Times Milwaukee, Precision Farming Daily, Marin Magazine, Minneapolis St. Paul Daily, right? Pro Food World, Main Biz, Food Dive, right? So the Sunriser, these are Guns America Digest, right? These are typically the from. Now you will occasionally see sometimes folks will put in the subject line the name of the editor, right? So this is from Zachary Wilson. If you look at this one here, Zachary Wilson at Wilson Research Group, which runs electronic cooling. Oh, this is actually a sponsored email. I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of that one. But you'll see like here, Keith Dennis. Keith Dennis is the publisher at Denver Business Journal, right? So he's coming from that. I'm not really such a big fan of it coming from an individual. I'd rather it come from the brand in here, but A/B test that, see what works best for you. Most of the time you'll see it coming from the brand. So make sure that that's very clearly legible. The next thing then is the subject line. In Gmail here, when you haven't read anything, the subject line is what shows in the dark text. And then the pre-header text is all the rest of the text that fills out. So both the subject line and the pre-header text are absolutely critical to getting someone to open your emails. And I'm still amazed. Most of us are doing a pretty good job with the subject lines. A lot of publishers are still really failing pre-header text and missing a big opportunity. And I'll go through those. So this is what it looks like on my desktop in Gmail. Let me switch over to my mobile device because whether you're in the B2B industry or consumer publishing, most emails are still read on a mobile device. Here is my inbox for Apple Mail. And as you can see here, there's the from, there's the subject line. Actually, let me bump this up a little bit in size. There's the subject line. And then all this extra text is the pre-header, right? This is all the pre-header. Actually, I can get rid of this extra one here. That's a duplicate. But you can see the pre-header text is actually kind of really important to getting people in and seeing what's inside your newsletter and getting them to open your newsletter. If you switch over to the Gmail mobile app, which a lot of people use as well, again, you can see here are the from, the subject, and the pre-header text. So not as much pre-header text on the Gmail app as there is in the Apple Mail app. But nonetheless, it's still very, very, very important. So let's just go through a few of these and let's take a look and see what makes you want to dive in. So first of all, let's go through BizTimes Milwaukee, right? So this is BizTimes Milwaukee. That's the brand. This is their daily, which is their typical afternoon newsletter. And then this is their subject line: physicians plan to convert former Brookfield. So keep in mind, here's what it looks like on desktop. Really long subject line, but look how it's cut off. So you might want to think about this. Since most emails are read on mobile, maybe we need to look at not putting as much into the subject line and making sure we really get into what we want to on there. If we look at this over here on Apple Mail, sorry, this is Gmail. This is Apple Mail. Apple Mail cuts it off after BA in the word bank, and Gmail cuts it off after the BR. So your subject lines need to be actually relatively short to make them effective. Now, a lot of people are reading on desktop, either desktop Gmail or modern times desktop Outlook. But even in B2B spaces, most emails are read on mobile devices. So make sure your subject lines work great on both mobile devices. Look at your subject lines in the Gmail app on a mobile device. And this is an iPhone 14 Pro Max. So this is like the biggest screen you can get on an Apple device. And even still, you can see where it's cutting it off. And then on Apple Mail right over here. So check that out. Let's go through that's their subject line. I think the subject line is too long here. The pre-header text, okay, they're kind of going into some additional information, how Wisconsin companies are tackling wellness and how Wisconsin companies are tackling wellness. And then if I go back here to this, how Wisconsin companies are tackling wellness and inclusion in the workplace. One instant access to our, see, here's something where the actual email, the pre-header text was how Wisconsin companies are tackling wellness and inclusion in the workplace. By the way, I always put a period at the end of my pre-header text for this very reason. I want to finish up that sentence, and then what's going to happen is Apple or Gmail or Outlook is going to pull in additional text it finds in the email. So in this case here, this is the pre-header text, but you can see one instant access to our insider-only articles. Well, that's what's showing up right here. So just be careful. Usually a long pre-header text is good, but not only the long pre-header text, put a period there. That way, if it does pull additional information from the email, it'll just look like it's finished and not like some kind of run-on sentence there. So there's a little tip for you. Let's go on down. Let's go on to the next one here. Let's go to Biz New Orleans. Okay, this is the business publication for New Orleans. Food delivery robots debut at Uno. Okay, plus more of today's news. Okay, this isn't so bad here, but I think we're missing a little bit of an opportunity with plus more of today's news. And again, I put a period at the end of it. Kind of just looks odd. If we get in, Biz New Orleans, here's what you should know about student loans. And then they've got their email newsletter going on here. Not bad. But plus more of today's news, not bad, but maybe be a little more detailed. Plus more of today, plus 5 other stories from today's business news, right? If you're going to be more generic, be a little more specific. That makes sense. Just so we can get a little more detail in here. Again, the goal is to get people to open this. Now, if you take a look, here's another approach to this. Let's look at Providence business news down here, or Arkansas business, a couple of AABP publications, Alliance of Area Business Publishers. You can see here, they're just doing, hey, this is our PBN Daily Edition. This is the IBJ Daily. Now, PBN just says Daily Edition, and then they put other stuff beyond that. That's some ways you can do that. I've seen another one, Baton Rouge Business Journal does a pretty good job of this too. But anyway, I think we're missing an opportunity up here. Let's take a look at Precision Farming Daily. So Precision Farming Daily, weekend recap. So, which is interesting because it's coming out on a Monday, but maybe you're recapping what happened the weekend. I don't know. So precision sprayer scans fields in less than 250 milliseconds. And this is not too bad here. Let's take a look at this. This is a newsletter. So kind of getting into this newsletter, not bad. Oh, by the way, when you click on it, this gets out of bold, but this still shows a little bit in lighter text. So I'm going to mark this as unread. So unread, I can see, hey, this is the weekend recap. Okay, maybe that helps me identify what newsletter it is. But again, if I pop back into Apple Mail here and take a look at that, let me refresh this page. A precision farming dealer, Robotics, ARA precision sprayer, right. So what? And then Swiss ag tech company recently introduced its spot sprayer ARA in the US. Well, that's really not what this is about. It's about that it scans fields in less than 20 milliseconds. So some interesting stuff here, but also we're only highlighting one article. We're only highlighting one article out of the email. And when we look at the email, right, we got convergence between AI and precision ag, right? Stop tolerating jerks, don't know what that's about. Improve your customer service, recognizing generational differences, right? So we're not giving anybody any information out here that this particular email has more than the Robotics story. So I think that's a missed opportunity there. And same thing here when we take a look at the actual email on like Gmail, we can see Robotics ARA Precision. I'd rather see, if this is the Precision Farming Dealer daily, that's fine. Maybe you do Biz Times Milwaukee daily in the subject, and then get right into it. Don't waste the word daily. Don't waste the word weekend recap, right? That might be a faster way to get into what you're wanting to actually tell people is inside the newsletter. So a couple things on that. Now I want to go down to Marin Magazine. So look at Marin Magazine. First of all, this is their newsletter. Or is this? No, I'm sorry. This is an actual subscriber. Here we go. Minneapolis St. Paul Daily. So here, Minneapolis St. Paul Magazine went ahead and said, okay, but we're going to call this the Minneapolis St. Paul Daily. I'm not quite sure what the extra period is there in the from. I wouldn't put it there, just Minneapolis St. Paul Daily, get rid of the extra period. Setting the scene at Gainoy, pardon me if I'm butchering that, plus all of these, 4.6 million Lake of Isles home for sale, what to do in Twin Cities, and more. This is great. This is great. You've got kind of your feature story, and you say plus these things. That's really drawing people in. Now, I think we're missing opportunity because we've got view in browser, e-news, Mac, right? Because if I look at this in here, view in browser, and then that e-news Mac, I bet you that is the code underneath that particular ad. I'll be willing to bet. But you notice how it's pulling out the code. So we're missing opportunity here with Minneapolis St. Paul Daily. You can certainly do a much longer pre-header text. Let's take a look at this in mobile. So we take a look at this here, setting the scene at Gainoy, plus this. Okay, yeah, this is fine because, this is Gmail. It doesn't show a lot of pre-header text. If we go out into Apple Mail, so a lot more here. See, you got this view in browse, something to think about there. So I don't think we're taking full advantage of pre-header text, especially when we have a shorter subject line. So the idea is you want all this to be filled with content or to stop or to drop off. Let me say one thing a little side note about this view in browser. This just kind of gets me a little bit here. View in browser. This is a throwback to the days when we didn't have email newsletters that were mobile responsive, right? That sucked on mobile devices because they were all fixed width. Now, if I pull up Minneapolis St. Paul, hey, it reformats very, very nicely for this. You don't need this view in browser anymore. We just don't need it. That's extra content, it's extra stuff that fills up the top of the page. Get rid of it, guys. We don't need it anymore. We don't need view in browser. If you need a link for advertisers, it's fine. Get it out of your email system, but you don't need the view in browser anymore. So that's just a little side note on that. Come on down here a little further. What are your priorities when planning an event? Read more online now at wisconsinmeetings.com. Okay. So they have a couple other stories in here. Well, maybe they don't here. What planners need when selecting destinations and venues? What are your priorities? So also, what are your priorities when planning an event? But yet your lead story is what planners value most when selecting destinations and venues. That is, well related, that's a mismatch. If you're only going to send out one article in an email, make it a little bit, tie it in together. Make sure your headline, your subject line matches then what you're going to do here if you want to do one article. Also, I would use your pre-header text to expand upon this article, right? So if we come out here, plus read more now online at wisconsinmeetings.com, expand upon this. Get me to want to open it up and want to read it. Okay, Providence Business News, PBN Daily Edition. Okay, that's the subject line. That's an interesting way to go. If we were to look at this on mobile, right? Providence Business News, PBN Daily Edition. Okay. If the pre-header text really got me into what they were saying, but it doesn't, because they're not using pre-header text. So this is an example of where they haven't even set up pre-header text. Instead, what Gmail is doing, what Apple Mail is having to do. Here's Providence Business News, right? Monday, August 28th is a subscriber new, change delivery address, digital edition, ACLU of Rhode Island. It's just pulling out, Gmail and Apple Mail are pulling out the first text that it finds, right? Monday, August 28th, subscriber new, change delivery address, digital edition. It's just pulling out the first text. So this is an opportunity where we're really missing an opportunity to elaborate upon what's in the PBN Daily Edition and why people should open this. So make sure you're setting the pre-header text. This is an example of an email where there's no pre-header text set. Let me move down here a little bit further. Here's another example of a really long subject line that, when I come down here, let's take a look at Mackenzie Scott, right? Mackenzie Scott emphasizes advocacy in recent, guys, we've got, okay, and there's also more here, but our latest articles on what's happening in the world, also today. This also today, a conversation with Jackie Broxton of the Biddy Mason Charitable Foundation. That's a mouthful. That should be in the pre-header text. Instead, it's pulling out the first text in the actual email. Okay, so I'm going to pull down here, see if there's anything else that really catches my attention. Main biz, again, view web version. Don't do this view web version, email preferences, share. We really need to, I'd rather see us say main biz flash poll or main biz flash poll, and then have the actual poll question right down there in the pre-header text, rather than main biz flash poll, hitting the road, flying the friend, and just having it cut off. Again, the goal here, look at your emails, preview them. Look at them on Gmail desktop, look at them on Outlook desktop, but look on them on Apple Mail, look at them on Gmail, and ask yourself this question. If I didn't know anything about this email, would the subject line and the pre-header text entice me to want to open this? Would this make me want to open this to find out what's going on? This is kind of like writing headlines for SEO or for social sharing. Right? You want to write a headline that really intrigues people to want to open it, but doesn't give away the punchline. So this is a real fine line. Same thing here down. We'll go to Arkansas Business. Love these guys, but again, we got daily report. And then we're just missing a real opportunity because we're not doing any pre-header text, right? You received this newsletter because you subscribed to Via Arkansas Business. What a missed opportunity to give me a reason to want to open this up. So keep going down here. I don't think there's anything else I really want to talk about here. This is an example. This is, I believe, this is Louisiana business. So Baton Rouge business report. One of the things I like about this one, daily report AM. Okay, that's fine. Let's actually look at this in mobile as well. Let's look at daily report here. Let's pull that one up here. Daily report AM, daily report AM. So the fact is daily report AM, and then you got all your pre-header stuff. I would really change this, and I would literally say, now you could put business report, which is Baton Rouge. But in this case here, I would actually put Baton Rouge business report, just because not everybody knows what business report is in, say, Baton Rouge, whereas Milwaukee Business Journal, I know what that is. But I would actually make the subject Baton Rouge business report. If you want to keep this daily report AM, that's fine. That's fine because they do a lot of things. But then I would really put in some of your key subject line information with the content of the newsletter into your pre-header text. Rather than having trouble view this email on your browser, again, get rid of the view this email on your browser. It's not needed because most emails are mobile responsive these days. All right, what's another one here? So here's a good one, the Sunriser. 190,000 job openings, but what do they pay? Plus, home building stopped as old oil weeks low, mobile home development puts out Gunnison. I love this. This is more of a newspaper. I love this. This is great. A nice, your lead right there. Plus, show you I've got a bunch in here. Love it. Love it. Moving down along here, nothing else is different here. Again, Keith Dennis, publisher of what? Right? You're assuming I know Keith Dennis and I've got a relationship. Maybe I'm getting it in the newsletters. But again, I would probably use the brand instead of that. And then moving down here, Ottawa Business Journal, Techopia. That's their newsletter. Dan Goldberg explains why Telesat is finally, again, we don't have much space. We really need to shorten this up. So maybe it's, OBJ Techopia as the from, and then we get in, no one necessarily knows Dan Goldberg, but why Telsat, right? Let's get into this one here real quick. What's the why Telsat? Here we go. Why Telsat? I don't really necessarily know. I don't know enough about this here, but why Telsat is finally positioned for success. Or it could be why Telsat is finally positioned for success. Don't have to talk about Dan Goldberg. Again, just some things here to think about as you're diving into here. Anyway, I could keep on going here. Los Angeles Magazine. Your morning update is here, the daily brief. Good morning. Today is Monday, August 28th. I already know this. We're missing a lot of opportunities here. So anyway, I hope that this helps you a little bit. Take a look at your emails. Look at them on desktop, either Gmail or Outlook or whatever you happen to use as your favorite mail program, Apple Mail. Look at it though on mobile. Look at it on Apple Mail. Look at it on Gmail app on mobile. And then really make sure your subject lines and your pre-header text are geared to entice someone to want to open and want to read. Do some A/B testing. See what works best for you. But certainly don't waste things like your weekly guide, the Milwaukee Business Journal logo, which by the way happens to be the alternate text to their logo. What a waste. CL events, Thursday, September 21st, right? Having trouble, view this email in your browser. Daily report AM, Monday, August 28th, 2023. What a waste. View as a web page, update preferences, share, click here for more information. Again, what a waste. So I would just say really take advantage of this. This is your opportunity. I'd be willing to bet you could significantly increase your opens and thus your ad impressions, your value to your advertisers, your value to your subscribers, and drive more traffic through to your website as a result of that. We'll do more email tips down the road, but for now, that's all I want to cover today. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the week, and be sure, sign up for our email newsletter for more tips like these. Cheers.